Hello and welcome to Onesies, a podcast of one season wonders and blunders. My name's Andrew,
My name's Emily.
and we are back discussing the 2001 and oh, what a 2001 it is sitcom Raising Dad, which aired on the WB, I believe.
I believe so.
Yes, starring Robert Fitzgerald Saget, Kat Dennings, Brie Larson. I'm sorry, Academy Award winner Kat Dennings. I'm sorry, never been nominated for an Academy Award. Kat Dennings, Jerry Adler, Andy Kindler when we're lucky, and I didn't actually I didn't actually pay. I zoned out during the second credits, like thinking about how much I hate the song and how much what
I
I'm
hate
gonna
the
make
song.
you watch. So yeah, I just resented you for picking the show with this song.
Oh, I'm
Aw.
sorry.
So I missed to see if Megan Good's name was in the second episode, but she's not back for either of these episodes.
She's not back. Neither is Olivia, but Olivia is mentioned in the
Olivia
second.
is back. You missed her. She didn't get any lines.
Oh, boo.
She is in one of the shots when the teenage boys sexually harass a woman, and the woman says, "What a bunch of great guys. I wish my grad students treated me like that."
Cool.
Cool. Your show. I want to watch the inspiring tale of a young Pakistani American girl who fucking embraces her cultural heritage and discovers there's magic in being a little Muslim girl from Jersey City, but you say that that is negative.
I don't think it's negative. I just don't
Mhm.
care.
Hater. Did we just watch the Daredevil episode where Punisher kills a bunch of cops? Okay, we're off track. Let's get back
We're
on
off
track.
track, and we said no politics.
I didn't. It's not political. It's cathartic. Okay.
It's
Highly
therapy for
recommended for
me.
everybody else. Then 24 years from now, in the post-nuclear apocalypse, when Emily tells me that she really actually enjoyed all of those shows that I mentioned.
Oh, Emily's going to be dead.
Nope.
You don't think Emily's living through the apocalypse, do you?
Only to agree with me in the future. Okay, so the first episode begins, so first date, which now again, all of our communication about this show off pod is about the continuity, who's appearing, things like that.
Yeah.
Right. So like I don't know. Bob Saget has had romantic interest in other women on this show. It
Or
hasn't.
not romantic interest in
Right,
other
but
women. Yeah.
it's been discussed. It's
Yeah.
come up. So this episode erases all that. Presumably that was in the Megan Good universe. We're not going back. I did actually have an idea about how to get AI to talk about how movie frames are composed and how you could do that. But we're not feeding Raising Dad to AI. That would be wrong.
The
Not
computers don't
worth the
need to know
water.
about our computer overlords don't need to know about Raising Dad, I
No,
don't think.
you know what? Skynet is not going to think more of us for Raising Dad. So,
Scientology. Isn't Skynet Scientology?
Skynet is the thing from Terminator.
Oh.
Um,
Nope.
Never, not a one. We've had this conversation on the podcast, and one of
Oh.
the stars of this program, Andy Kindler, told you to watch Beverly Hills Cop, which also came out the same year as the Terminator. Okay, so that what does the episode even begin with? Like, is this what are they doing?
Is it in the classroom?
No, it's in the kitchen. Jared's back for the first episode, and they're
Is it
talking.
is it in the basement? You said in the
No,
kitchen,
it's
but
in the kitchen
okay.
when, yeah, it's him talking about how much he hates Jared because
Because he's a
Jared's a
smoker.
smoker.
Yeah.
We no longer talk about Jared the criminal. But Jared's her only friend in the first episode, actually. Okay, so Jared comes up in conversation, then picks her up to go to school. and he is back from last episode. It's the same actor, I presume. His
Hmm.
hair is a little bit different. The character's basically a prick now. Like last episode, this episode, he seemed like, I don't know. It's very strange. Like you can't tell if there's supposed to be romantic interest between the two of them, but he still makes creepy comments to her. But he's also going to make pornographic comments to a visitor to his classroom. So basically,
Yes.
this guy is a cabinet secretary today. And that is a timeless comment. It is not about current politics. Boom, reality. Um, so do we get a subplot? What's Emily's subplot the first episode?
I don't know that there is one. I think it's mostly she just gets upset
She gets upset
and like very
and
quickly it's resolved. Like grandpa and big sister sort of talk her out of being upset.
they talk her out of being upset, but we drag it out.
I thought it was pretty quick, actually.
Well, she doesn't have
But
anything else to do. Oh, we'll get to it.
well, okay, so Jared is in the basement with Sarah at some point. He's smoking out of the whatever that side door is.
I think
And
we have the first. I think we go to school before that, don't we? Don't
do
we
we?
have?
I don't
I think
know.
we have the classroom because they're talking about it in. They introduce the topic of the visitor when Jared's there. He's like, "I've got her book.
Yeah.
It sticks to all my other books."
Ugh.
So
You're so gross. Um, so I okay, yeah, I think you're right. So they do go to school, and there's this weird scene where we're in Mr. Stewart's classroom, and all of the students are like in the back third of the classroom,
mhm,
like she's got secret this guest has secret service around her. And
for
probably
good fucking
yeah,
reason.
probably because all of the men in the room are fucking young men are fucking perverts. And she is talking, she's a famous author. Matt has made them all read her book. And so they are asking her questions, but it is not particularly appropriate. And she is just lapping up all of this attention from underage boys. It was pretty,
Including saying, "Call me when you're legal."
it is so gross. Also, it's weird because later she does not read like a straight woman. Like the character is not that straight women can't be a little bit more masculine, but the way she walks, she's very like, and again, I'm not saying this is a stereotype. She's very aggressive, very forward, and it's weird that she is particularly interested in these young men
And Robert Jeffrey Saget.
and Robert Saget. Yeah.
Um, yeah, we'll get to like, but she also paws him in a weird way. Like,
It was up and down for me. It was
yeah,
so
like
weird.
I kept trying to recognize some if it was anyone. It's not anyone I'm familiar with. We'll see if she comes back ever. She is supposed to, they threaten it. So, but what happens is she and Saget are talking after Josh asks a question. They make fun of Josh for crying. I think this is where we see Olivia in one of the shots, but she
Mm.
doesn't get any lines. And then she gets mentioned in the second episode, but doesn't appear.
And Megan
Um,
Good is nowhere to be found,
no, and
even
I
though
didn't pay
on
attention to the
IMDb
credits.
she's on
Yeah.
the credits for this episode.
So, um, so then, yeah, so what is he gonna do? He's going to,
He has given her some of his writing
mhm,
to read and would like to discuss it with her over dinner. So this is one of those classic miscommunication. Cowardly man can't ask pretty lady out on a date. So he this arrangement is come to. He thinks it's a date. We cut back to the house in the kitchen, and Grandpa and Emily are in the kitchen. And he comes in with two sweaters. There's some joke. Nope.
he asks him downstairs. he comes in. We have the conversation about the cigarettes. We have Jared smoking.
Mm-hmm.
Then Saget comes in with the two sweaters.
Mm.
We talk about the slate and the gray. And then because we have Sarah and Jared, yes,
Yes.
talking about she's not happy that he's dating. Jared's like, dude's gonna get horny, right? Also, if he's out banging, we can be down here doing whatever. And it's just like, what do you think whatever is? And she's like, all right, I'm gonna be in support of this. Then he goes up and talks to the other two, and that's when Emily freaks out. Not our Emily, everyone, but the Emily on the show, played by Academy Award winner Brie Larson. Our Emily's an EGOT.
I wish. Um, is this the episode? No, it's the next one. Um, so yeah, so he takes his shirts upstairs. They come to the conclusion that he's going on a date with the woman. Emily freaks out because this is where we discover, or maybe just after this, that their mother passed away 2 years before.
Hmm.
So in the pilot episode, if we rewind, it's seemingly pretty fresh
Hmm.
because Emily's upset because Sarah got some necklace
Hmm.
that she want that whatever. And like I understand grief takes many forms and it impacts people differently, but throughout this, whenever Mr. Matt Stewart has come up with has been having feelings for women or not feelings for women, it's been too soon.
Hmm.
Um, 2 years is a pretty long time, especially for a man, because men are fucking gross animals. Um, present company not excluded.
Wow.
Uh, and so it's weird to me that the timeline is the way it is, but it also kind of explains why mom hasn't been mentioned a lot in these because it's been a couple of years. At the same time, and grandpa's kind of taking on the role of mother, let's say, like stay at home mom, cooking and cleaning, and this has come up a couple of times, and he's taking Emily to school and picking her up and being, but I just found it, I kind of found it shocking that they made that decision to like plop that in there
Hmm.
to be so specific. They could have just left that out.
Yep. Because it means that Emily or Sarah's had 2 whole years, or one, she had her freshman year with in the same high school as her dad.
Hmm.
They had a year to have these things and
To have
figure it
things
out.
kind of normalized,
Yeah.
right?
And
Yeah.
they never have.
And they never have.
So when he comes through to go out, Emily gets upset and runs out into Sarah's room, closing and locking the door. Sarah is like fine with it. Grandpa's like, we'll take care of Emily. You go on your date and have a great time.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay.
Gramps is ready to play wingman. He is
Yes.
ready. I would love an episode where the two of them go out hunting for Poon. I would love that episode.
All right. Cool. So they treat Emily going freaking out as like an annoyance and like a personality tick, not that she's like experiencing like a traumatic event or something.
Right.
Like we don't get any, this episode's very quick, like it takes place over, one day basically. um and Saget is not concerned about her at all. Like, I mean, he doesn't think about the daughter's reactions to his dating at
Yeah.
all. Um,
And you would think, I mean, he's so sensitive about it and he was so like, I don't know, you would think that that would be something he would be. If only to make an excuse not to go out with somebody.
right.
I don't know.
So this is where he goes to the bar. It's a college bar. The bartender is Mr. Lynch from last episode or 2 episodes
2 episodes ago, last episode of the podcast anyway.
Okay, yes, last episode of the podcast, he's back. He is a bartender now. He is no longer a teacher, and he
Same
is
curmudgeonly,
yes.
grumpy man.
And Saget is just like info dumping to him before he even knows who he is. And it's very, I mean, it's supposed to be him being anxious, but these two episodes really showcase what a terrible dramatist Mr. Saget
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Um, Especially next episode, which is just kind of like tragic because that was a really good episode for somebody. Um, but yeah, so then Chicky comes up, fucking like puts
This
her
is
arm around him.
this is where she's like weirdly aggressive, and her gait is, I don't even want to say like it's butch. It's like just weird. It's like she just got off of a horse.
So
Like a cowboy in a cartoon.
she is half as tall as Bob Saget.
Yes, she is tiny.
So I'm wondering if some of that is compensation for like just the physicality of moving with him across
Maybe.
the stage.
It was just
Um,
it caught me off guard because again, if this was supposed to be a romantic encounter, I was going to be, wow, is there a lesbian in this TV show? Because that would be progressive for 2001 or 2002.
I mean, she's like, you know, rubbing his hand as they walk over to the table. Like
Yeah.
he's like so excited. And
Yeah.
then he gets there, and there's a table of students, and she's like, here we are. Don't worry, they don't bite. And he's like, what the fuck is going on? And she's like, this is my graduate students. I told you I was having them read your stories, and now they're gonna fucking critique you when you thought you were getting laid. Oh,
Yeah.
right. At the bar, he makes some like getting laid reference too.
Mhm.
Like, or maybe even in the classroom he did. Like it's been yes, we get to watch Bob Saget fucking be sexual. Um we
Just what
also
you've always wanted.
we also had in the first scene Bob Saget talking about how he thought the word whack was still in. And so we get a
Oh
lengthy thing
yeah.
about that. We get Grandpa referring to himself as P Grand Diddy or Grand Pippy or something, which does not age well. Yes. So we did have some of that stuff, but instead we have more to talk about than just that. It does not come back as opposed to when it sometimes does uh come back. It's
Yeah.
like they're like, hey, there's a chance Bob Saget's gonna be a little racist on this show. Why don't you stick around? Fucking 2001 WB audience. You know what's up. We know who you voted for. Um, so then
So, do
we
we go
cut
back to
to
the
the
house? Oh,
house.
oh, what we did miss is on his way into the restaurant to the bar, he's on the phone asking about Emily. He's on the
Oh
phone
yeah.
asking about Emily, and I thought that's a pretty quick turnaround for so much concern, but I read it as him trying to distract himself from being nervous for this date,
Mm.
right?
So at the house, they are giving Emily pie. There's a bit where Grandpa puts an apple on a different type of pie, and Emily throws the apple at him, which made me kind of giggle. It
It
makes
took
Kat Dennings get a giggle. I actually laughed at the final joke in this episode.
Yeah, I thought that was funny with the apple because it seemed to like surprise Jerry Adler.
Yeah,
It seemed to legitimately surprise him.
yeah.
That did not seem like acting.
No. So, but then that's kind of no, wait. Then Sarah is going to go into the basement through the door,
Hmm.
talk to Emily, talk her down, basically,
Talk about how her dad has needs, how their dad
has
has
needs.
needs that
We
the daughters cannot meet, but other adult women can.
and we get this thing about how it's like it's not a great scene for Brie Larson. Like it's a pretty decent scene for Kat Dennings altogether. Like
Yeah.
because she like talks herself through her position that she's only adopted because she Jared told her to, but she
Yeah.
figures, she reasons her way to having empathy for her father, which is incredible because it's Bob Saget. But Not after the next episode, she wouldn't. So, and then we cut to dinner wrapping up or whatever, and they're clarifying that he thought it was a date. She didn't. She'd love to go out with him again. She, makes, touches his hand some more. Like, there's like, I wouldn't say subversive, but it's just kind of like, you guys can tone this down. Like, nobody fucking cares about this part of the show, man.
Yeah.
Like, calm down.
Yeah.
Um, then he goes home. They talk about how, wait, hold on. They're gonna make a date for some other time. He thinks he's ready, blah, blah, blah. She'd love to go out with him.
Yeah.
He goes home, and I believe it's 9:15. We talk about the time, and Grandpa is sitting at the kitchen table, bummed the fuck out because of 9/11. And they don't say it, but Bob Saget's like, "Hey, you seem really fucking bummed out. What the hell's going on?" And he's just like, "Oh, the world right now." Bob Saget's
Hmm.
like, "Yeah, it's really rough right now." Pats him on the shoulder and goes into the other room. It's fucking weird. I didn't watch network television around this time. Like, by the
I
time
didn't
I was
either.
watching network TV again, they were at least referencing the reaction to 9/11 being fucking
So I'm
insipid. But
I'm I don't mean to question you.
okay.
So this episode was released January 18th, 2002, after
Hmm.
9/11, obviously.
Yes.
But I w- I wonder how far back it had been filmed.
They network TV films on like a pretty weekly basis. Yes, shit airs out
Okay.
of order, but like I don't think, had we invaded Afghanistan by then?
I don't think so. I think that
Okay.
was like March.
So, yeah. But yeah, maybe that was their thing that they were going to reference like, but
Maybe. Maybe that's what it
well,
was.
otherwise they
But
cut one hell of a subplot.
they
Like,
also he's also bummed because his son didn't score.
well,
He's like, "What the hell are you doing home so early? Why aren't you out getting some?"
I mean, yes. I don't
But
know.
you're right. I mean, you could very well be right that it's
Okay.
they're not talking about it, but that's what is being referenced.
Yeah. So they go into the living room. Emily is there. They have a little talk. They talk about how he's going to go out with her again. She's like, "It's okay, Dad. Sarah told me all about your man needs." And she runs upstairs and he's just like, "What the fuck?" Goes down. Sarah has her headphones on. She's working on homework.
Hmm.
He talks to her about the man need thing. She gets embarrassed. And then there's some final line that actually made me laugh at one of these things. Oh, maybe it's like when Emily runs upstairs, she's like, you know, we're all worried about your man needs or something. And he's like, I am too. And I actually like laughed or something. It was really funny. I was like, I don't know that I've ever done that with this show when it hasn't been Kindler. Um, and then the episode's over, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then on to the second episode, Sam's Enchanted Evening. Um, I forget where it starts. Probably in the kitchen again. That seems to be where all of these things start.
Mhm. Does it have just a harmless tag on it? I can't remember. It might have another harmless tag with dad and the two daughters. Because it doesn't start with the bra because that gets built up a little, I think.
I thought it started with the bra
I
in
think
the
it
in the
starts with the
kitchen,
bra in the
where
kitchen?
I feel like she's asking, and she's like, "Listen, I've saved up my money. I need a bra." So there's two plots in this. Sam, i.e., Grandpa, goes out on a date and stays out all night. The second subplot is Emily wants a bra. Um, there are in her arguing to get a bra, there are she, the character, not the actress, urges everyone to inspect her body in a way that suggests that obviously, if you just look, I need one. If you're not watching the show, folks, she is like 10 years old and she is very much not in need of a bra. Um, you had said, quite surprisingly, that this is a good subplot for female characters in a WC sitcom, even if it's a little like, ugh. But as somebody who was formerly a young woman, I tend to agree. that it is an interesting subplot where they're not, well, except the reason why she wants the bra is because boys snap the bras. And I'm sure that's how you met your wife.
Obviously.
You just walked up behind her, snapped her bra one day, and
Yep.
she fell madly in love with you.
Obviously.
So,
But she was 10 and I was
gross.
7.
Gross. So, I mean, I guess it's not quite passing the bed shell test, right? Uh,
No.
because because that's why she wants it, is so boys will snap it.
Well, also, all of the discussion about it when people don't know that is about it in a very like like it's for the male gaze, which is very uncomfortable because then we have Kat Dennings talking about her breasts and she's 15, and like Brie Larson's like, I will only have value in this society if my breasts are as big as yours. And Kat Dennings is like, yes, that is true. You have my genes, so you should be okay.
I laughed. I
I laughed.
laughed
I laughed. Oh my God.
when when they're talking, the two of them, I think down in Sarah's room, and Emily says, "Those are real."
That
I
was pretty
laughed.
funny.
I
It was
laughed.
pretty funny.
I laughed at that.
It was pretty funny. So,
Yeah.
but so the A plot is Grandpa goes out and he's not there in the morning. Bob Saget's already in a bad mood because of the bra conversation, and then he's in a bad mood because Sarah's staying out too late and she misses her curfew by half an hour. And
Yeah.
she's like, well, can't you just raise my curfew to 10:30? Olivia's curfew is 11, so we're like, okay, we're in that universe. Um, Olivia doesn't appear in the episode, but she shows up in this weird, desperate sequence where they reference Matt Damon and Ben Affleck.
They're in town filming a movie, which is how we know we are in Boston.
Yes, it's very strange.
And Olivia, there's a photo. They're out at a restaurant or a club, I don't know, somewhere. And the two actors sit down next to them. They end up taking pictures together. So Sarah is shown a photograph of Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, and Olivia, and
Yes.
their friends, but we don't ever see that picture,
Yeah.
obviously. And very weird.
Yeah.
Very weird.
Um, they're starfuckers. It's the WB. Um, but Grandpa gets back at 6 a.m. He sneaks into the house. His suit is all ruffled because he got some action. Um, he didn't get much sleep, if you know what I mean. Um, and so then Bob Saget flips out on him and he's just like, calm down, dude. What is your problem? And
Right.
he's just like, my problem is you're here to cook, clean, and drive my kid to work and
School.
school. And he's like, okay. And he's like, well, I wasn't here one time. He's like, well, then I don't need you. And Grandpa walks out.
Grandpa's like, bye.
Yeah. So we might actually have skipped out that they split that between two scenes because Saget comes back in to yell at him some more
Yeah.
when Grandpa is just like, what's up, dude? How's it going? Want to see my like wet undies and shit? Like,
Why are
I
his
don't know.
underpants wet? Did he pee his pants?
No, from his night of action with Arlene, the nurse. So the girls get home from school. We have the buildup with the Ben Affleck thing. Um,
Bob Saget's cooking dinner and the girls don't want to eat it because it's gross. He
it's
makes,
disgusting meatloaf. Do we have the Kindler scene? I think we do. We have the
yeah,
first Kindler
interspersed
scene.
in this, Kindler is playing therapist in this in the teacher's lounge, and Matt is just asking or just kind of venting about the bra situation, about the dad situation, about the curfew situation. And Kindler's playing I don't know. I mean, he's just playing kind of generic therapist, which I thought was kind of funny, but my particular favorite joke was when he's like, "All right, well, I gotta go. I got an appointment with a geometry teacher. She's got rhombus envy. I
Couldn't
oh,
handle it. Okay.
it was good. It was
Um,
good. Go listen to some earlier episodes of Thought Spiral.
okay. Um, so, but what's annoying about this episode, as far as Saget goes, is that he's not listening to people telling him he's being a dick,
Right.
which is something we talk about on the show, where he learns after he's been a dick that he was a dick and he learns his lesson. And then we've talked about how, it doesn't really appear that, his character is improving between these episodes. We
Right.
really get that here. He's being a prick. He knows he's being a prick. He's enjoying it. And Saget's such a bad actor that it's just, it's frustrating to watch people bother in the scenes opposite him. Like, he just does not have any dramatic timing whatsoever. And
Yeah.
I'm on record with him having like point 0.5 out of 10 in comedic timing. Like, so it's going to be unfortunate because this story with the dad takes forever to resolve. It
Hmm.
involves the him moving in with the girlfriend for multiple days, long enough that the girls talk to him on the phone, long enough that they might go over and hang out with him. And like it's Sarah who patches it up, breaking her curfew, getting in trouble for it, and then she refuses to tell her dad where she is, which is, I mean,
It would be better. Like, I understand the impulse to turn her into some snotty teenage kid, but it would be better if the conversation about the curfew included things like, you just have to trust me
mhm,
and that I know what I'm doing, so that, like, the coming in a little bit late or not
right.
telling where she is isn't, like, it's resolved, but that's not really resolved when she's just being nasty.
Yeah.
Because if I were a teenager and that same thing happened, I'd be like, I went to grandpa. I went to visit grandpa and we talked and he's going to come back. So eat my shorts, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Because
Because
I
she's
said things
not,
like eat my shorts.
yeah, obviously did. Um, but I mean, it's,
Also, at some point, Sarah agrees to take Emily bra shopping.
yes, after walking in on her trying on the bra and stuffing it with Sarah's stuffed animals, which, um, seems, this was one of those things where I'm like, this doesn't age well. Like, but it's, got like it should be fine. Like in a just universe, this should be fine and not raise a bunch of issues. But this is where we get to talk about
Yeah,
the 15-year-old's boobs. And I'm just like,
yeah,
wow, we just are really gonna fucking talk about that. And it's like,
yep.
yes, we are. Um,
Again, in like a world without adults, if this was on TV or a TV show exclusively for children, I don't think it would be outside of the realm of something that's like a useful topic of conversation, a
right.
relatable storyline for
Like if this were,
girls.
yes, like this is very, I don't, like this seems like what Degrassi should be like, or from when people are like, oh, it's like Degrassi was that kind of serious show about teens and their
Yeah,
younger siblings. Like it seems like that. It'd be like a graphic novel subject scene or like
yeah,
inciting incident, even in like like, I don't know, book for tweens about their bodies and shit. It could be an
yeah,
inciting incident. Like it's
yeah.
totally fine, but it's played so just not.
It's
uh,
played in a way that if people are watching it for like Bob Saget and Jerry Adler, it's like
yeah,
cringy, creepy, weird.
yeah,
But it also kind of highlights kind of how clueless most fathers are when it comes to dealing with puberty and their pubescent slash prepubescent daughters.
yes.
Right? Like, again, this isn't that show,
No, we
because while he's
also,
clueless, this isn't about him like coming to some kind of understanding and being a better father to his daughters.
even though the show's called Raising Dad, it actually is not about him. Even though they tell us that's what this show's going to be, it is not. I just forgot. or I just remembered that we forgot to talk about how they mock empathy as feminine and they ridicule it in the first episode. But
Oh
it's
yeah.
okay. Josh turns it around by objectifying author lady and making a
Yeah.
sexually inappropriate. A 14-year-old makes a sexually inappropriate, or 15, and everybody's like, "That's awesome!" Such a good show. Such a good show. You had me recommend. You had me recommend this one. Was
Yeah.
Going to Extremes yours, or was that mine?
I think that was yours. I don't
Son of a
remember.
bitch. Okay, so
Excuse me.
we've been sort of hopping around all over the place, but
Yeah, we're not talking about this in any kind of order, but that's okay. Because it's pretty
so
thin. It's pretty everything is pretty thin. There's a couple
yeah,
scenes with Kindler as the therapist. There's a couple scenes where grandpa gets yelled at by dad and dad gets yelled at by grandpa. Emily and Sarah seemingly have like
a bonding
a bonding
relationship,
moment. It's
which is
great.
nice. Yeah. They come back from bra shopping. Saget has had another therapy session with Andy Kindler, this one ending with Emily's um rhombus envy joke, but it's also where Kindler's just like, dude, you're not listening to me. It's like I don't have to listen to you. I get to do whatever the fuck I want. They better do what the hell I say if they want to live under my roof. Like,
Yeah.
and Kindler's like, well, it sounds like you suck. And you should really work on that, man. And it's just like, no, I'm gonna suck. Fuck them. Fuck my dad. I'm the. And you're just like, dude, it's Bob Saget. Like, come
Yeah.
on, man. Like, he couldn't do this well. He can't even, like, it's painful watching it. It's just so it's a combination of boring, bad, and just like tedious. Like
Yeah.
it actually grates. It's grating because it's just like it's not working. You can tell it's not working. Kindler is like trying to keep some energy in the scene, and Saget's just like, give me all the oxygen. We're gonna fucking just throw it away.
Yeah.
So
And even like you feel bad for Jerry Adler, but Saget's sort of energy even pulls that subplot down. Like they don't
yeah,
have the same chemistry, they don't have there's no jokes, there's no nothing. And so
there's
the only redeeming quality is like a little bit of Kindler and the kind of soft nice relationship between the sisters.
yeah,
That's pretty much it in this
yeah,
episode. And so the plot is almost irrelevant.
yeah. Um, Grandpa's gonna come back. The peace was made. Um, they apologize to each other, and it's strange because Grandpa doesn't have anything to apologize for.
Mm-mm.
And so I was wondering how they were going to address that. And it almost seems like, I mean, Saget, just as a person, and I don't know if this is accurate, gives the energy of someone who, like, acts like this. And it, like, Adler's agitation and irritation with him, just like, it just plays very weird. Like the scene where Adler visits him in school to say, Sarah told me to come over here, that you're about ready to apologize to me.
Mm-hmm.
Saget's like, oh, she did she? Well, I guess she's right, but I really don't want to say I'm sorry unless you say I'm sorry too. Is that okay? And he's like, sure. And we
They
get
like do the 3, 2, 1, and Saget says, I'm sorry. And Jerry says, I accept your apology or something.
yeah. And then he's like, you have to apologize too. That was the agreement. And he's like, yeah, I guess I'm sorry, but you know what? You got to realize I'm going to be out fucking. Okay. Like, you need to chill out.
Look at this man. I'm gonna fuck. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very much that. And and you're right. The grandpa didn't really have anything to apologize for, but they should have had some kind of understanding and agreement that
Yeah.
grandpa is not enslaved in this house.
He's not an indentured servant.
Right.
You agreed if you came here to live here. And it's just like, dude,
Yeah.
what? That's not a fucking boon to come and live with you.
Why would you even think that? He is an adult man. He is your father. And there's not even like really, I mean, there's a little bit of ick that he gets from thinking about his dad.
Yeah.
engaged in a sexual relationship with a woman. But it's not even that he's like mad about that,
No.
or even like that's the underlying problem, is that he doesn't think his dad should be getting laid. It just immediately is like, you're setting a bad example for the kids. See, Sarah's coming in late for curfew. That's because you stayed out all night. And then it's like, no, it's not. He's an adult and he can set his own schedule.
Yeah.
He doesn't have dementia. He doesn't have any like physical or mental problems that require supervision. He can make his own decisions. And that is never addressed. That is never addressed.
And then they have meatloaf, I think, right? And then we find out at some point that the whole reason she wants the bra is so
Yeah.
boys can snap it, and that's what the cool boys do, and it would make her a cool girl. And I'm just like, well, you know what? The world makes sense if those were the kids in 2001. Okay.
And she's telling this to Sarah initially, and Sarah's like, "Oh yeah, I remember that," and kind of like having fond memories of having her bra snapped. Folks, gentlemen, this is not a real thing. That is harassment. It hurts. It is not pleasant. Wearing a bra is not pleasant. This is not something you should wish on young girls, like at all. Bras are tools of oppression, is all I'm saying.
Um,
So she comes home from school after having wore her bra for the first time, and this is the other thing. She tells her dad, "Oh, my bra got snapped 3 times today or whatever, and my back is so red." He and he's like, "Oh, that's why you wanted the bra?" And that seems to be like okay with him.
yes.
I take umbrage with that. I do not like that.
I
Um
mean, I mean,
and I also feel like,
it's just sorry, it's wrong on two levels, which makes it just sort of difficult because there's like we're running into the show like, and you run into this with sitcoms often, right? I guess something maybe actually no, you don't run into it often. Like lots of sitcoms directly engage with um melodramatic or traumatic events and experiences, right? And
yeah,
like so he thought that he was having some weird like not Munchausen's, but like she like was having some like impatience to age,
to grow up,
to
yeah.
grow up in some way that like maybe related to her sister, maybe related to her mom. Nobody knows because we didn't actually find out. We just fucking yelled at her about it.
Right.
But now that it turns out that she wants to do it to be physically objectified and manipulated
And
by
harassed.
boys,
Yeah.
he's like, fuck yeah, kid. You're turning out Jim Dandy.
Yeah. I was kind of a little upset with that conclusion. To be honest. It
Well, then
was,
also,
and like you had mentioned, I was going to say, like, all of this could have been resolved if he had been like a parent and sat her down and been like, "Okay, we're going to talk about this. Why do you want a bra?" And they had the conversation. Of course, the episode wouldn't exist, right? So part of it has to be miscommunication, because that's how television works. Um or television sitcoms work, it's all about miscommunications. But again, it's not teaching him anything, because every single time there's going to be a miscommunication that could be resolved if he would just ask questions instead of reacting
yep.
every single time.
But we're over the halfway mark. How
We
does it even
are.
end? The end is a tag where Emily walks through the kitchen and her legs are covered in band-aids. And
Oh, because
Sarah
she
goes,
shaved her legs. Yeah.
I don't even know what's up with that. Dun, 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 dun,
Hilarious.
dun, dun. And they had meatloaf.
And they
Good
had
meatloaf.
meatloaf. Yeah. So, next week, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, Andrew. Next week, we're going to talk about episodes 13 and 14. Episode 13 is called Mentor Matt. One of his former students publishes a book and he becomes jealous, and if you can believe it, is an asshole. And episode 14 is called The Math Problem, where Kat Dennings is struggling in math and Matt hires her a tutor. Oh, special guest star in the math one. We'll talk about it after recording. So, anyway, thank you all for
Oh
listening this
God.
week.
Okay. That's ominous.
Thank you all for listening this week. Andrew, I will see you in television land.
See you in television land, Emily.